Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Love Stories with Abiodun and Olda. I hope you're doing so well today as we'll decide to share on something very, very, very crucial and something I believe will be very, very essential to help you in your love journey and as you go on in your relationship decision. You want to say something to them?
Hello everyone, how are you all doing? It's good to be here again. So enjoy this ride.
All right, it's that phenomenal moment again in the year when people begin to think about Christmas, think about the New Year, think about very phenomenal moments. And we understand that a lot of people are in different phases in their relationship life. Whether you're single, you are not yet married, you're anticipating to get married, you are still considering whether he's the one or she's the one, or maybe you have agreed, you have proposed, you have accepted proposal, or maybe right now you are just still trying to think that, oh, does it look like it, or maybe you're even in courtship journey already. So today we'll be talking about our courtship book. How excited are you about talking about it?
So excited.
Because you see, this madam was reading our courtship book today, and she was just blushing, she was just laughing. Like if you see different laugh, and she was trying to cast me really, and inside of it too, she was casting herself. So when she was
How
just
did
trying
you
to
do? How
read a
did
lot
you
of the
do?
things, and I was asking her, have you fulfilled everything that was written in that book? So we just talk about it. Okay, so how our courtship started. After proposal, after going through parental consent and pastor's proposal, so we have a system in our denomination that is created a structure called the marriage committee. So the marriage committee will give you guidance that okay, right now go for parental consent. That's allowing your parents to know your intention and your family members, and then when that is done and then they get the feedback that oh the families now agree that you can go ahead, then there's a part called courtship. In your word, what's courtship to you?
Well, courtship to me is a period of knowing yourself better, planning for the marriage, for your home, the type of home you want, knowing the person more and more, the person you want to live your life with. So courtship is a time of like it's just like preparing for the marriage ahead. In your courtship time, you should visualize the way your home, your marriage is going to be like. So that's just courtship for me. Knowing the person you want to marry, then the type of home you want, building it together and having a structure for your home.
Yeah,
Simple as
awesome,
that.
awesome. Then I think a lot of the times before you go into relationship, people have lot of assumptions. People have had different stories from left, right, center, top, down. And it's when you get into the courtship, there are lots of real conversation that begins to take place. This is not the time when you begin to spare the man and you say love in the air, and then you don't ask real question, or you don't ask the woman the woman the real question. You just say, oh, we love it, will be fine. Love, love, love. And sometimes love is not enough. If you just say I love, and you don't take courtship seriously, you will Jones. When they use the language in quotes, you will Jones. You just be there, and a lot of things you assume. Maybe if, for example, let me use those who are in the religious setting. Maybe this person has always been maybe your pastor or your prayer coordinator, and because this person prays a lot, you do that, and he does all the prayer and everywhere shakes. You just believe, oh, because he's a prayer person, if I just mind, all will be well because he must have sorted all in prayer. But when you now begin to discuss in courtship, you now begin to find out that hey, this brother is dead to you. You now begin to discover because maybe for certain reasons you were not close to converse with each other. You are now around the person, the mouth is smelling. You just find out that the person's ideology is so wrong. You that wants to travel all over, the person is saying, no, Nigeria is my place. Courtship is that point where you discuss it beyond just God has spoken, God has said this is it, God has said this is where I should go. God spoke to me, I saw vision, I saw revelation, I was lifted into the third heavens, and I saw you, and all those stories. The reality comes in courtship, where you guys have to really discuss what families do you come from, what do you believe in your family, how do you go about it. So it's that moment where you have real discussion, and you don't have real discussion for 2 weeks. You don't have real discussions for 1 month. Because I'm surprised sometimes when people say, "Oh, I knew him yesterday and we got married the following week."
Hey,
Eh? So
For
you mean
real.
you already knew the person for 2 weeks, you already knew the person for 1 week, and you are going. You know what marriage means? Marriage is not wedding, no.
It's not already
Because
ceremony.
some people used to hype the wedding. Ah, we danced, we did everything. But when you get into the real marriage,
Hmm.
and if you don't prepare for it, when the foundation, there's something in scripture that says, when the foundation is destroyed, what would the righteous do? So even if you are righteous, it does not mean your marriage will be okay if you don't have a very good courtship.
Yes.
In fact, I remembered one of our father, well-respected fathers, who told us at the point that I think some weeks to our weddings that, he said, even as people are going, you have done one courtship. He said, when you get wedded finish, you now have to start another courtship, which means there's a place of knowing, discussing, conversing, and just a lot of things. So that's what majorly courtship needs to be about, and that's what our courtship was about. Funny enough, because of distance, for example, what was our courtship now?
Most of our course we did it on phone. How many times do we have to see? Maybe few times, and those times we don't even have time to really discuss and discuss and discuss. So our courtship was more online, and it was still very much interesting because we always have something to talk about. We paint scenarios, we learn from people's story, and in our committee they gave us guidelines of what to discuss, but we went out of that guideline, discussed extensively. I remember one of our pastor was sharing with us that, no, I saw it on his post that they will not tell you everything. They will not be the one to they are not the one going to live in that home, live in that marriage. So they are not going to tell you everything. So anything you can discuss in that courtship time, discuss it. Don't hide it and say, "Ah, I don't know how this person will feel." Discuss everything. Know where you people are aligned, know where there is disalignment, know how to discuss it, know your likes, your dislike, what you expect, your expectation, and everything. With this, in fact, we discussed a lot. So courtship time is not a time. Yes, the mushy feeling, the love in the air is good, but there are times you just have to be so real. There are times me and my husband we have disagreements that we just say, "Well, see, let's just go and sort it out, and let's come back and see how we can make these things work." So my pastor will say, "Shake all the shakeables, so that the remaining thing, the substance that remain, will be the one that will carry you into your marriage, carry you into your home." So, but if you are saying, "I don't want to talk about this now, I don't want to talk about that now," maybe when we get into the marriage, you will be surprised and you might even be disappointed, because not talking about it will not help you to have a view of what you expect. I was telling my husband that what I'm seeing now in my marriage, like in our relationship together, in our home, at least I have a glimpse of some of it even when during our courtship. So I'm not caught unaware. I'm not surprised. Like I already have at least a little bit of, okay, this is who this person, this is what I should expect. So those times are times to talk about real things, real practical things. You can sometimes my husband will not even know. Maybe I think there was a particular day he did something. He responded in a way that I was like, "Hey God, how will I handle this?" So I just talked to maybe one of my sisters. I said that this is how I'm thinking this thing should be. She just said that I should not worry. She just gave me some hints and all those stuff. So coincidentally that day I saw a post on Facebook. I did not tell my husband that I saw a post. So the following maybe 2 days after, I just told him that, okay, let's imagine. I just painted the story to him. I wanted to get his response, but I don't want to be direct to him so that it won't be as if because of what I said. So I just painted the picture and I said a particular family, the husband. I sort of did the story, cooked the story very well. I can trust my husband.
It's casting herself now.
From his response, I just got my answer, and that settled that area. Like I was like, wow, okay. Also, maybe you know, I'm just telling him that one. I'm just saying that one now. But those are the things that we did during our courtship. If you see something and you want us to emulate, we just come and say, okay, imagine this type of thing. And from my response, I'm very sure he has gotten my own view about it, and the way I will respond to that thing is if perhaps that type of thing happened in our home. So those were the things we that helped us in our courtship period.
So, like you heard, our courtship, like I would say 80%, about 80% of our courtship held virtually. So because I was based in Abeokuta, My wife was based in Ado Ekiti, so she only shows up maybe once in
Ìsìkọ̀lé
2 months.
Èkìtì o, ìsìkọ̀lé o.
Okay, sorry, in Ekiti. So we had lot of our conversations on phone. So when they give us a topic today, we'll go discuss it and all of that because of distance. And once in a while, we met physically. So the way it runs in our churches, there's always like a guideline. They will give you, oh, discuss this, which we'll share with you. I'll let you know how it went, and maybe if we have a release, we'll tell you the extra one that was not the guideline that we had to discuss. So while we were discussing a lot of those things, we painted different scenarios, and good enough, we had very practical and open people in our group married community who told us their life experience. In fact, they told us that some things we discussed that immediately we get into it, it will change. You know, sometimes when you have not entered marriage, there are some things you have, oh, this will be like this, things will just turn out like this. We'll talk about it like finances. You say, oh, this, you already start putting calculation, you are putting percentage, putting everything. That when you now enter, you now see reality that economy is not the way we thought it was. Because sometimes the way you assume things when you are still single or when you are engaged is not exactly how it will be when you get married.
Exactly.
But the courtship discussion will try to give you some sort of alignment, some sort of flexibility, some sort of agreement. Like you can know, okay, this person's thoughts. And that's why sometimes in courtship, always create certain options like, oh, option A, option B, option C. So that whichever ways there's one of the option you can hold on to. So it was a really, really phenomenal time. And listen, let me tell you the truth, we fight. I know one of our friends who was sharing certain things with my wife. Like, oh, this one, I did this one. Let it just scatter. I wish I don't want to calm down. Calm down. So it's not going to be like switch like that. It's not going to be like, oh, it will just be interesting. You guys going to have a conversation.
It's even good to have that fight
See,
during courtship. It's good.
My sister, if you are in courtship and the brother is not talking, no, or pray again. And if you find out that, I will say pray again. Or if you find out that it's only you that you're always talking, my brother, maybe it's you that will marry yourself. Or my sister, maybe it's only you that you're marrying yourself. Because the person that is silent and not talking is hiding something. So that's why you must make it really conversational. It must be a conversation like, oh, you say this and talk. Also, I say it is well. It is. Listen.
And you guys say, well, Lord is the reserved type. He doesn't want to talk. If when I see something, just say, okay. Oh yeah, let's do it that way. Hey,
You see all this? It is well, brother and sister. Sometimes that's not the truth, though.
that's not the truth.
So you should always make sure that the other person speaks, the other person talks about certain matter. In fact, if the person want to, but let the person bust out. See the person's temperament, see the person's reality, see how the person think. That's what it has to be about. Don't just be cover everything. It is where God will take control. God will take control. God will. Not everything has to do with Bible verse or with a religious book verse. Sometimes come into reality of how do you think about this. Let the person be expressive. Okay, ask the person, for example, like, oh, how do they handle this kind of issue in your family? So you can have a basis to the person's thought. You can have a basis. For example, there are certain things in my immediate family that I have to explain to my wife that, oh, this is how these things are, but my own thought got renewed and I believe it should not be done this way. Oh, this is how this used to be, and all of that. So you can really, really understand. And funny enough, because I happen to be like the secondary firstborn. Why? Because the first child of my parents died. I didn't meet him, and she's also the firstborn in their own family. So when firstborn and firstborn marry themselves, sometimes you always want to see you because you have always been talking to your younger ones and you want them to always obey. You now want to use it on your husband or your wife. Sometimes it will not work. So when you have expressed it, when you have expressed it finish, you will now go ahead and make it happen.
I really want to appreciate my husband for one thing. At the beginning of our courtship, like I read about so many things. Well, maybe I didn't get to that point. I have to understand that both of us are firstborn. And sometimes I would have thought, hey, jeez, I'm not supposed to talk this way. So at the point we have to discuss about the way we react just because we find ourselves in a position of maybe sending our younger ones errands or talking to them in a way you want them to respond to you because you are the elder one. So at the point I have to, even my sister have to point my attention to that also at the point when we were talking. And I was like, oh, I have to calm down. It's not every time you want to have your way. Now you're getting married to a man that you have to submit to, and you have to regard his opinion. And thank God for the marriage committee. They, in fact, they really, really helped us. At the beginning of our courtship, if you see what we wrote, we were so specific. Number, like exact thing we want. We were so specific. We don't want number of years. And when we got there, they were like, hey, you people don't know reality. By the time reality hits up for you, you might have to adjust those things. So they told us to cancel some things and put another word instead of exact words. Like, let me give you an example. We said, okay, anybody that is coming to visit us must inform us like 2 days before. And he said, okay, if the person is on his way and probably something happened, the person just have to come to our house. So we said, no, you not tell us 2 days in that. We should not put that as occasion demands. There are so many things we change and we're like, So they taught us to be flexible with all our write-ups in our book, and they told us that we should be ready to adjust. Don't say because this is how we wrote it inside our courtship book, and now this is married, it must be like that. Whether it's convenient, whether it's not convenient, whether it's going to hurt the other person, whether it's going to bring problem. Say no, this is what we are going to do. So they taught us to be so flexible, to be ready to adjust, to be ready to adjust to situation that comes our way, even though we've written it in our courtship book. And they told us to always revisit our courtship book. They told us to always revisit it and check, see how far we are going. So those were the things that helped us in those courtship period. Though we were not together, always having time together to discuss it. Right there on phone. I don't want to say go and read about it first. Let me read
See the
about it
book.
too.
See the book.
We even have to dedicate special book for it. That's what they told us actually. That created not just any book that you can just see anywhere and you don't even know that it's a courtship book. So those were the things that helped us like now in our marriage. So for courtship, be ready. Just let right from the beginning, let your mind be open. Then be ready to be so flexible so that when you get into the marriage and you see things that is not exactly the way you talked about it during courtship, you won't have any problem. You just have to see how to maneuver your way and see how things work, how to make things work and still be fine. You get.
Yeah, I think it's also important that as intending couple or people who want to go into the marital relationship, you have elders that can guide you. Lots of young people today don't want to have guides. They don't want to have elders. They just say, we know how it's going. All those people is old school. Let me tell you the truth. When you see an old school that have stayed together for 30, 40 years, is not trial and error. There's something that they know that's kept them together. And you must not look away from the fact that there's something they know. At some point, because of varying controversies around marriage community, especially in the denomination we are in, at times you'll be scared, like, oh, this we got there, we're not like, why are people running away? What's even the problem, really? Like, these people are friendly, they are open. Yes, they are people of varying characters, but you understand that these people truly have your heart. And if there's nothing you're really hiding, just go ahead and go there.
Okay,
But
one of the things we did also, sorry to cut you, was that before we started, we neglected everything we've heard about them in the past. We just went with an open mind. I do not because a particular sister or a particular brother told me about his own experience or our own experience about them, and now put that one in my mind. And when they are even asking me question, I'm already forming that attitude that why are you asking me that type of question? No, we just neglected everything we read about them, and we just agree that we are unique, we are different from anybody. So let's just go there with a open mind. And seriously, we don't have any issue with them. They were just there to guide. In fact, some of the things they told us in our home today, if somebody is trying to maybe act funny or to say, remember that time that they told us that experience. Now you don't want to, and we just adjust. You get. So that notion for us, what helped us and gave us a smooth ride with them was because we did not allow what people said about them to get into us and start making that one as forming our attitude towards them. So it really helped us in our
Yeah,
life.
yeah, very good. Yeah, I think it's very important. Maybe in another episode we'll talk about marriage committee on its own. But let's drive back to our courtship book. So in our courtship book, part of what they told us to do was they said, forget the fact that oh you've listened to marriage message. They say you need to go and sit down and listen to is it 5 or 10 messages?
5 messages,
You need to go and
five
listen to
books
5 messages on marriage and read 5 books on marriage each.
from
So we
different
need to
authors,
go and
different
listen. So
pastors.
I listened to marriage on messages from Pastor E. Adeboye. I listened to Pastor Kumuyi. I listened to I think there was one by Bishop Oyedepo,
And there was one
and
by
I think
Miles
Moron.
Moran.
Yeah, Miles Moron. Then we read certain books. So some of the let me just tell you some of the messages I heard. Who should I marry by Pastor Adeboye. Planning for marriage by Pastor Kumuyi. Journey Towards Marriage by Pastor Kumuyi, Time of Courtship by Pastor Kumuyi, Marriage and Money by Pastor Kumuyi. Um, then they told us to write about my ideal wife and my ideal husband.
So after reading
Yeah,
those books, wait now.
yeah.
After reading those books and those messages, they told us to come and give the feedback. Like, what were those things you like? Okay, we wrote them down, but even beyond the ones written down, they asked us face to face, and we were not able to look at people to see what we wrote down, so that they can be sure that we actually read those books and listened to those messages. So they asked us questions.
Wait, and I think it's also very important that when they give you those assignments, do them. Some people just rush, do it well with the heart that I'm going into a serious business. Some people just do it like, let me just do it because I should do it. You are your own. Because when you build the foundation on anything, on a solid knowledge, it's firm and strong, other than assumptions. And I think some people would rather accept what they read online or people post about themselves online than sitting down and settling down to receive deep knowledge.
Mm.
Okay, very important. So it's really key. I think there was one book too. Is it 15 things I think we knew before we got married? Oh,
Things I wish I knew before I
yeah,
got married. Gary Chapman. Yeah,
very phenomenal book.
read
Yeah,
the
go on,
book.
go on.
Yeah. So the first that was the first stage, reading messages and books. Then the next time we went, they asked us questions. We gave them our feedback. So they said we should go and write they said I should write my ideal husband. Then they told my husband to write about ideal wife. That was the first assignment.
So ideal wife is like, oh, what are the kinds of things you want to see in your woman? Like, what are the kinds of things?
The
So, what are
expectations.
the things you expect that oh, I'm getting married to this person? These are the kinds of attributes,
They
characteristics I
lie.
want to see, and all. So they even gave us the idea that oh, we should break it down into certain areas like spiritual, physical, social,
You are the one that broke it
finance,
down. They did not tell us
academics,
that
and
one. They did
career. They
not tell us.
suggested.
They did not tell
They
us.
suggested now.
But the writing
So,
spirit inside of
so
you.
academic and career, like what's the kind of career you want her to be into? What's the academic status you want to see? The purpose in life and the kind of mindset. So let me tell you. Let me just talk about the mindset. I had 3G for my own mindset. I needed a mindset that was godly, that was growing, and that was global. That was godly, that was growing, a growth mindset, and that was global. So you needed to write those things, and then they now told us that we needed to discuss. So you would have now change notes. Like, okay, this person will see the ideal husband. You now be looking, okay, this one I have it already. Okay, this one I will work on it. This one, just to have that kind of conversation. So you should have those kind of things. My ideal wife, my ideal husband. These are the kinds of things I want, and then the person start working on certain things. There was one that I even wrote where I wrote down that oh I needed somebody that was neat and that could dress, and then somebody in my community say, okay,
Ready to spend
be
money.
ready to spend. So sometimes when you're writing those things, you should know the responsibility it takes. Don't just say, I need a woman that can dress, that is classy, that is this, and you don't have money, or you're not ready to work hard to sponsor
Or
it.
you're not ready to give her money. That's another thing. So I wrote my ideal husband too, and we discussed about it. It was very funny. So at some point, I have to explain some things I wrote to my husband because he needed clarification. so that you're not going to write something that is not realistic or something that your spouse cannot even
Achieve.
achieve. So we have to explain, okay, this is what I mean by writing this, and we got the explanation and we were fine.
So
Then after,
that's even when you read. So when the other person reads, and then you now find out that, oh, this part I'm not clear. Can you explain to me? So
yeah,
that starts the point of conversation. Like, oh, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by you expect this? What do you mean that you want this? So
in what
then
area do
you
you want me
begin
to
to
do
talk
this?
about it
And it was fine. Then after that, I think the next topic they gave us was money management in the
in the family.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, money management. So if at that time I didn't have a clear view of what money management in the family is, I have to quickly go and read some stuff so that when my husband is talking, it will not be as if I'm lost. So we have to read about how it should be, financial management, like decisions to make and all those stuff. So we came together and we discussed about it. In fact, we allocated some percentages to some areas of our family. We looked at, okay, what is the income that will be coming from me? What is the income that will come from him? We even emphasize that, okay, let's say in the next 2 years we can't be where we started from. No, at least there would have been increase and growth. So we we allocated some amount, some percentage from our income, and we did all those stuff together. And when we got to them and we explained everything, they were giving us practical things. Okay, what of, because I was living, okay, let me say for myself, I was living an environment to a very new environment. And I said, okay, what of if the first 1 to 6 months, these things you wrote did not work out this way? So they gave us option and we're looking at the two. Okay, how do we balance it up that the burden will not just be on one person? And we were already, okay, I will do this. We were just trying to sort
Yeah,
things
creating
out,
options.
creating options for ourselves, just to make sure that that aspect in our home, because in fact we read about the issues that comes up due to money, we read about people that have had issues because of money and all those stuff. So we're ready to face it from different angles, that if it comes this way, this is what we will do. If it comes this way, this is how we are going to address it.
Yeah. So
Even
it's
though
very
some of those
important.
things we
Yeah, very
agreed
important.
on, like those stances we agreed on, we didn't even put them in book, because even after we've passed that topic, we still have to go back again and talk about it. So we talked about it, we agreed, we decided, we're looking at different things. And if I see something that is very useful in terms of money, my husband will send to me, read this thing, send the link to me. And if I see something that is very helpful to us, that will help us in that aspect, we send the link to him, okay, read this. And we're growing, we're
And
learning.
still, for every conversation, we're signing signature. We're signing every
Yeah,
conversation. We're both
we
signing.
signed, like
Yeah.
we
So
both
so
agreed
I
together.
think it's very important that as intending couple, you know that money is important. Don't
Very,
don't
very.
play. Don't play on this. Money is important. Don't let anybody tell you it's not about money. When it's good, brother and sister, have faith. It's okay to have faith, but make sure you come also to reality. Don't just promise a sister things will be well, things will be okay.
God will
Let's have faith
provide,
and get into
and
it.
you're not putting
And it's
work
not
to
like
it.
God has spoken to you to go ahead and just carry on. And before you know it, the woman gives birth to children, and then you begin to give excuses, and you cannot meet up to demands. It's very important. Don't let anybody pressure you into marriage. God does not pressure anyone into marriage. He leads and guides you into it.
Exactly.
Okay, because some people will say, "Oh, my father said that when they started, he didn't have anything. He only had a single room, and when he had a single room, and he was a farmer, and they were doing it, and then you now say you want to marry without all these things. Before you know it, you will now say responsibility. Money matters, oh. You must have a system with which you can take care of your home, at least feeding and housing, basic elements that must be met. There are some brothers, you know, you are struggling to pay house rent personally, okay, and you are struggling to feed well 3 square meal personally, and you now say you want to marry because you feel you want the woman to come and take care of you. Remember, the woman is meant to be an help meet, not to be the head. Okay, so it's very important that you discuss things around money. Don't just wave it up and say, we'll be okay, we'll be all right, God will provide for us. And you are not sure about what God is saying. Don't use other people's story to decide the journey of marriage. Make
Mm.
sure you have what God has told you, and then you have a strategic plan to how you want to live your own. Money is very, very important. You must discuss money on our application. Discuss it well.
Maybe somebody wants to say, I thought you taught us that we should have faith. It's a journey of faith. Yes, it's a journey of faith, but just make sure that you have a structure. The way my husband said, you have a goal, you have something you're aiming at. You are not just having faith and you are just folding your hands. No. And even the Bible says faith without work is what? It's
Yeah,
vain.
yeah.
So you have to, yes, the journey of faith. Do you know how many times we have to put faith into action in this journey?
We even start discussing about what it's not just today's conversation.
So
You want to plan big things and all those things. We will talk about them, but let's just focus on courtship today.
so
There are a
yeah,
lot of conversations in these love stories
yes.
that we'll talk
So
about, but money. Put money in your conversation in
faith is
courtship.
good.
Put money.
Faith
Put
is
money.
very,
Like,
very.
oh, ask the brother, how much have you been able to save so far? Sister, how much have you been able to save so far? Ask
What do you
yourself the future,
intend? What do you
like,
intend doing?
how much comes in currently in your income? How much do you think will continue to come in? How can you expand your financial capacity? You begin
Yeah,
to look
these
critically
were
at it.
questions we're
And then
asking
these are the
ourselves.
times also you also begin to know who can save money more between the
Yeah,
both of you, who can save money more, so that the
who is
person
disciplined
is in
about
charge of the
money?
family savings. Okay, who is the one that loves to give anyhow? You should know. I'm not saying you don't give, but someone to be able to caution you. Not that you now give all the feeding allowance for the family. You give it out, and you now say, "Let's continue to trust God and look to heaven." No, there must be moderation. Know the strengths and weaknesses you have concerning money while you are discussing things around money. Number two, we talked about extended family. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about extended family, how to relate with them, how to cope with them. They are coming around, our obligation to them even after getting married. You cannot just get married and just neglect all your family like that. It doesn't work that way. We still put them into our plan. So those marriage committee shared with us practical practical examples of what we should expect. Maybe not, they were not saying you must do
Hmm.
this thing exactly. They were
And it
just,
was not like point one, point two, point
yeah, they
three.
were just giving us example of
Just
things that came
practice.
up in their own families and what we should expect and how we should blend with it. Then I think after extended family, we decided, we talked. I was like, this is my own mind. My husband said this is my own view about it, and we came together and we are fine. After that, I think we talked about
Yeah, child
childbearing
training.
and
Like
child
how
training.
many
How many
children do you
children
want
you
to
want to
have?
want, what's the space
How
in
do you want to train
between,
them?
what are the
So
values you want to instill in
yeah, what are the
them
things you should do in their presence? What are the things you should not do in their
in their
presence?
presence, what are the
Like
things
it's
you
not
need to
like
teach them.
one person says this to the child, the other person saying something else.
Yeah,
So if you are disciplined, you try discipline together. If you are showing the love, show the love together. And it's not like you are showing to the child that I love you more than your father, or those kind of
so
things. So they are very, very important. And then in terms of the academics, how far do you want them to go?
which school do you want them to
Yeah, those kind
go?
of
What
things.
type of upbringing do you want them to
Yeah,
have
how
in
do you
that
want to help
school?
their giftings? How do you want to
Yeah,
do and
their
support all those things?
access to internet. We did that. It
So
was interesting.
it's very important to talk about these things. Don't just say, there are people that say, oh, when I get to the river, we will cross it. I pity you, oh,
Don't get
because if
there.
you
Oh.
leave it to chance and you guys are not strategic, in fact, sometimes you may even decide that because of child training, this is the kind of job that's allowed for one partner to do. So one person must do a job that keeps you around the children. The other person must do a job that will not keep you. Then also we talked about combining working for God with secular job. So it was a very crucial because I had my pastor in the campus was there, and this was very very matter that they didn't want the instance where because you now had family and you had a job and you now had a family, you you would now have to say, I'm not serving God again. I will not fulfill purpose again. I will not fulfill ministry again. So how do you create that balance? How do you ensure that everything works and everything is fine? So it was very, very important. And then we talked about accommodation, the kind of accommodation you wanted. So it's very important to discuss it. The woman will tell you the way she wants her kitchen, the kinds of bedroom, the kinds of bedroom she wants, and then combining secular work with home. My wife have casted me on this. She told me that we agreed. What we decided was that, oh, you will not stay outside the house beyond 6 p.m. But when I got my new job, I knew that practically it was not possible. So we just needed to adjust. Then we talked about future career development. What are the future career prospects that you want to go into, and how can you support each other? Then we also looked at this is the one people like, engagement and wedding plan.
Yeah, yeah, they put us through on what we should do, like all those ceremonies. Say don't spend all your money on ceremonies. Don't so they expose to us the processes, things we should expect, where we should pay our attention to, what we should do, the meeting together family to family and agreeing on okay, these are the things we want to
Yeah.
do. This is the expected number of people. And
Don't
so at
let
that
don't let
point,
anybody push you extra. If your
yeah,
family are telling you we're inviting 500 people, ask them straight up. Are you people going to be funding the bill of the people you are bringing?
at that point, like the both family have to come together. We have to discuss. Okay, these are the bills available
Yeah.
for us. These are the expected number of people. How do you want it? Do you want us to cook together? Do you want
Mm,
us to do it separately?
yeah.
How do you want us to support you? And we came to
Mm,
an agreement. We didn't push too much. We didn't exceed our budget. We didn't borrow any money. We borrow money. We
no.
didn't borrow any
No.
money to do our wedding at all. We have to just stay within what we have, and it was a success.
And let me advise, if you are looking forward to wedding engagement, please make sure you buy enough food stuff for your house first.
Very important.
Don't go and feed other people and now be hungry afterwards.
Buy food stuff. Like 1 month to wedding
Buy
said,
food
it's
stuff, buy
advisable.
food stuff, enough food
Buy
stuff
food
at home,
stuff. And even
rice, beans,
2 months after the wedding,
everything. Buy it and
you are
stock
still
it there.
enjoying yourself.
So when you have sorted the house, when you have sorted the marriage, then go and
The
sort the
home,
wedding.
the marriage,
Yeah, go and sort the
now the
wedding.
remaining
So
ones
it's
will not
very
say this is
important.
what
So we
I am.
did that. It really helped us, and then we planned very well. So what we had, we put it down. Our wedding was like a crusade location, but yet we did not stretch ourselves too much. If you come to the wedding, you look like, is this a crusade? The chair we got was not enough. We had to go
You know,
and
we are
borrow
first
extra chair.
borns.
You know,
We are first
so
born of the
it was
family
really phenomenal. So
because
so
the first wedding.
yeah, so the lesson from all of this is do your courtship well. Don't just do a wishy-washy courtship and
Yeah,
just say love, 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 and you are just going on date,
take
eating,
time to
eating,
ask
eating cake
questions.
and eating cake and rice and wine, and that's all you see you are doing in courtship. We also have time to pray. In
Ah,
fact, virtually every day during
we
courtship,
pray though.
we're praying, we're
Because you
praying,
without prayer
we're praying, and because
is nothing.
especially when you know the families you're from, you know that there are some things you have to pray about. Even if you come from good family, you must still pray
Yes,
because you
prayer is
don't know the
very
person who
important.
is not happy with, what there were just many things. There were discussions I had with my wife where I told her this wedding is going to be the first on many things. So we really had to pray. So we prayed, and we thank God. God was really grateful. God proved himself strong and mighty. It was a wedding that if our people came out like, what happened?
It was glorious.
What happened? So
So what we are saying so far is having a sound courtship. We are not saying don't go and say because of what the Abiodun said. They said anything we write inside the book is not always like that inside
yeah,
marriage. That's not what we are saying. What we are just saying is have a very sound courtship.
yeah,
Ask questions.
pray.
Pray together. In fact, envision the type of home you want. Then don't forget anything you write inside this book is subjected to change.
Yeah, the
Change
situation.
is constant thing. So situations can come up that is even not aligning probably what you wrote inside the book. Be flexible.
Yeah.
Be ready to change. Like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next solution we are bringing to this? Okay, it has happened this way. Let it continue like that. You get. And whatever you see in that home, in that marriage, with prayers, see, there's no situation, there's no challenge that comes your way that you cannot overcome together. Even when you've written it that this is what I want, and maybe those things are not coming forth the way you want it, be grateful for the ones you have, and know for sure that whatsoever God has promised you, He will definitely fulfill it.
All right. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining.
very much
It
for
has been
joining
a delightful
us.
time.
God
So
bless
we'll come your way
you.
again. Keep
If you
making
have
change.
questions for
Keep
us,
making impact. Bye bye. Next question. If you have questions.
So if you have questions for us, you can drop it in the comment section. We'll attend
Subscribe.
to them. Subscribe to this channel and like. Thank you very much. God bless you.